Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Lauren. That was a wonderful presentation. I love how you talked about, being a newbie here who's never met anybody in the office. That's my situation as well, and how difficult it is to meet new people in these times in this working remote. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about my experience as a newbie here at New Relic, what I've gone through connecting, what I've gone through bringing my team, making connections with my team, and most importantly, how all of you can do some experiments to help rebuild that New Relic culture that we all so treasure. When I'm done talking in this presentation, I want you all to feel empowered to rebuild New Relic's coveted culture of connectivity. I've always loved New Relic. I've loved it since the first time I installed the APM back in 2009, and it changed my career. I love it even more now that I'm here and as I've met more relics, and I want to share that love with all of you. Something to think about as we go through these times. We've been talking a lot, Lauren talked a lot about connecting with our customer and how important that is. If there are barriers inside the organization, there is a moat between the organization and the outside world. If we have silos within our organization, we show a wall to the outside world. If we're cultivating a culture of negativity within our organization, our customers see that, they feel it, they know it. It shows up in our actions, it shows up in our code. My goal today is help to bring some sunshine to what we're doing, bring the love to what we're doing, and remind us all of why we're doing this and why we love this so much. I'm going to talk to you about my journey connecting at New Relic. I'm going to talk to you about what my team has done to deliver in-product support. We had to deliver in-product support as part of the Hercules launch, and we had to make an incredible number of internal connections where there's no option to see somebody in another room. We didn't have the conference rooms in the office or whatever. I'm going to talk to you how we did that. And then I'm going to give you some ideas about how to experiment to restore that New Relic culture, that culture of connectivity that we love so much. I'm going to talk about some specific experiment ideas and some ways to think about this. A lot of us engineers sometimes have trouble thinking about connecting just for the heart of it. I'm going to give you some ways to think about it scientifically as well. So, how have I connected to my team and to others at New Relic? Let me start with who I am and what brought me here. I'm the Senior Manager of Technical Support Software Engineering in the GTS Innovation Hub. Before I came to New Relic had made me a success in my career. A long time ago, as I talked about 2009, 2010, coding was really becoming a drudgery because you would do something, you'd feel so great about it, you'd put it out in production, and it would fail. And how would you fix that back then? You'd have a whole bunch of system.out.printlns. Yeah, I was a Java programmer back then. You'd be calling your friends, hey, can you test this out? You had no real way to look at your code. Observability was a word that was still many years in the future before New Relic would coin it and make it such a standard in the industry. When I fired up New Relic and I saw those charts and I saw it pointing right to the code that was causing problems, it was like, hallelujah. And I felt just to revolutionize the way that I look at software. That's never changed. Every gig I've had since then, when I get to fire up New Relic, that's when the joy comes in. I've been an engineering leader and architect. I've worked with a lot of people at New Relic around Portland, at Jive, at YesMail, and Mozilla. It was so funny when I came here, I would see all these names popping up of people who were heroes where I'd worked before, and here they are, heroes here. People like Aaron Bento, and Merlin, Daniel Hartnell, Jeff Cowan. I've spoken a lot at conferences in the past with real people in front of me. Here I am speaking to my room. I've spoken about cloud migrations, innovation architecture, and I've DJ'd. So I bring all of that to my work at New Relic. And on February 26th this year, I went to New Relic Portland for a presentation by Kelsey Hightower. I had worked at this floor back when I worked at Emerald Solutions in 2000, so it was kind of a weird experience. But look at all these people. Some of them are Relic, some of them are from other places. This is the community that New Relic built. This is what New Relic stood for. And it was that day that I recommitted myself to finding a job at New Relic. I was going to make this work. I was going to find a way to share my love of New Relic. So I went through, I applied for a job. I got this job. And May 18th, 2020 is my first day. And here I am in my old office just across the hall. I've got a new office now. And it looks just like every other gig I've had. There's empty chairs. There's no one here. So with that, how am I going to make connections? I've seen that the value of connecting is so important to New Relic. And of course, it's core to who I am. We're a team. We care about each other. But I'm sitting here alone at an office in Southeast Portland. How am I going to make these connections? I can't go fly to Barcelona. I can't go fly to San Francisco. I can't go downtown to Big Pink so I can see the office. How am I going to do it? thinking about the connections, there's two types of connections that you really need to make, that you need to succeed in work and in life. You have hard connections and soft connections. The hard ones are the ones that are fixed. They're fixed by rules. They're fixed by something outside of you. Your reporting hierarchy, your teammates, your family, your neighbors, governments. They're the flesh and bones of life. Soft connections, those are the ones that are the sauce, that really bring value to your life. They're friends, they're community, they're coworkers, they're the people that you meet each day. And most importantly, soft connection has been proven time and time again to be the place where innovation takes root, where creativity takes root. You can take those crazy ideas in your head and you might spin out on them on your own and take them in places that just don't make any sense. When you've got a team of people, when you've got soft connections to share those ideas with, you can make them into something valuable and something others will treasure. Connections have always been core to me. I've always been a bridge builder. At Mozilla, that was my internal title. The logo here is from the Bridge, Stanford's Peer Counseling Center, where I learned about building connections. And I use that now when I talk about bridging. What have I done to build bridges in the past? It's always been interpersonal, coffee chats, walks around the block. I always have interesting office decor to stimulate conversation. Of course, smiles. And how rare are smiles these days when most people we see are covered in masks? So the tools that are most important to me for connecting all had vanished in this time. But I can still build bridges. How do I build them with the materials at hand? Well, I had to start. The first bridges that were important to me were connecting with my team. I manage a team of now 8 engineers. And so connecting with my team required me to take a couple of experiments and try some different things. Daily stand-ups, of course, has always been a core of it, but now we're doing them on Slack. And I've had to bring a light touch to that because we're all so work-focused. Where do we soften that up a bit? Our stand-ups talk with a check, start with check-in. How you doing? Weekly one-on-ones with each team member, 100% focused on my team member, making that connection with everybody, building that little bridge right there. And once we've got that bridge, then we can talk about work. My philosophy is if you take care of people first, they will deliver. Everybody wants to do a good job. And when they feel cared about, they will do the best job they can. And the last thing with connecting with my team, of course, is scheduling some unstructured time. We have so many scheduled meetings and things we have to do in these times, and we're all working by this regimented lifestyle. You have to schedule some time to be unscheduled, schedule some time to be unstructured, happy hours, no agenda meetings, conversations. Once I'd built and solidified my connections with my own team, I also needed to make connections across New Relic with other teams. I started, to start with, my mini-M group has been the single most valuable source of New Relic connection, thanks to all of you. But in building my own connections here, I started by reaching out to old colleagues. That was good. I pinged these old coworkers on Slack, but it was just like a wave in the hall. Without a shared purpose, without a shared reason for our connection, they didn't really sustain. Then I tried finding the right Slack channels. But, previous places I'd worked, there were channels about cooking and pets and different things like that that were very active. Here I found music DJs, vinyl, all my interests, but none of them were particularly high traffic. And so the third thing I did is following our values. I'm bold in meetings. You've probably seen me ask questions in meetings. It's something I like to do. I've also taken the opportunity whenever I hear somebody say something interesting about what they do, or like when I met DJ Linus, I saw his DJ gear back there. I like to follow up, and that can build a soft connection. So building those connections were important for me. But then the focus had to be on my team, and the focus had to be on delivering something for our customers. And as part of the Hercules launch, we delivered in-product support. There's now a little question mark up there, and you hit that button, you get to the support tab, and you have the I need more help and the support tickets. You start to see the experience. You're coming into the arms of support. Innovation Hub Engineering builds the foundation behind this, but we couldn't build it all ourselves. In fact, when this all started, our team was new to GraphQL, even new to Node.js when we started doing this in late June. So how did we do it? We needed to bridge the gap for our customers between product and business applications. That's bringing those unique constructs within our organization together. And it seemed like we were alone on this journey. We didn't find a map. We felt we might have been the first team, and we still do. As we find new things and new nuances, we still feel like we may be pioneering a bridge here. Here's the connections that we had to build to deliver in product support. We had to connect. The UI has been developed by Joel Worrell and his team under a Slack group we call Project NR1 Help XP. It's tied together with the help search. We had to connect to Unified API and learn how that works, and we had to start delivering some of our services through NerdGraph. We had to connect to all these different business apps in the back end, each of which is a different team. Zendesk is within our domain, but DataOS and Salesforce, the business applications, separate teams. And we had to build strong connections with all of these to deliver in-product support. And we only had a month to do it. We connected with the business teams. Each team needed a little different massage to connect properly. We connected with the business teams with initially talking about architectures, sharing some Slack channels, and inviting to stand-ups. The business teams are more, how we say it, a little more conservative in how they approach their software. Their software is the robust foundation of our business. They're the dollars and cents. They're the people, the software that manages our people team. We also had to connect with our product teams, and the product teams are a little more experimental in mindset, a little more engineering. So we started there with shared learning and some vulnerability, admitting we didn't know what we needed in order to deliver this. And that led to, in Slack, some long threads exploring possibilities and details. What if we try this? How about this? Did you think about this? A lot more of that with the product team Slack than with the business team Slack. Both valuable and both building strong connections. Our goal, again, was to bridge that gap. There's no map for how this was done. And we're advocating for the customer. Product has an opinion. Our product needs to have an opinion. It's what people buy us for. Our opinion has to be that even if the customer's not always right, we're always listening to the customer, being the advocate for the customer. So we use that to connect on both sides, to know who the customers were and to help them connect. And ultimately, code is the truth. Code is the ultimate connection. Code is the gospel. Everything that we do as an organization, being a software company, is in code. We have to respect our partners' rules, their restrictions on accessing our business systems, the 5-second query timeout in NerdGraph to keep a high customer experience. We had to respect those rules and create new integrations that serve customers in product support. Now that we've built those connections and we've delivered the first part of in-product support and we're iterating on that with new features coming out every couple of days, how do we make those bridges stronger so we can improve that experience? We bring a unique perspective on our customer. As I said, we feel like when they come to that question mark, they are now in the warm, caring arms of support. How do we bring that care and that our mission of helping customers love New Relic even more to the teams we work with? We want to invite others to join us as we learn new things. We learned NerdGraph. Now we're learning some Lambda functions to help power some of the things we're doing. We want to invite others to come in and participate with us and join us as we learn. And we invite you all who know the product to teach us how to best use New Relic to make software for New Relic. There's so much to this product that we don't understand, that we haven't even used yet. How can we tap into that? New Relic makes engineering fun. Bring that fun to us. We want to learn from all of you. So I've talked about how I've built my connections, talked about how my team has worked, the experiments we've done in Slack and other places to build the connections that we need to deliver the software we want. How can all of us experiment and recreate New Relic culture? New Relic culture has always been the epitome of great tech company culture. I've always looked to New Relic as a place where you could have great casual conversations about technology, where you could learn new things and explore new things. Those are soft connections. People you meet in the street, people you meet at networking events, the people that you meet each day. Those soft connections are so valuable. How do you make those stronger without hardening them? A soft connection can become a hard connection when you end up having a code level dependency on something. How do you make that connection soft instead? Well, in order to build soft connections, you have to start with yourself. You got to manage your own capacity. How much can you handle? We all as humans have a limited capacity for how many acquaintances we have, how many friends, how many people we can manage in our network. We hear about it a lot from the social networking studies. You got to manage your capacity. You ask open questions, paraphrase, and share. When you meet somebody you're not sure what to ask them something that, ask them about how does that make you feel? What can you tell me about this? An open-ended question. When you hear them talk to you, paraphrase it back to them. These are skills I learned back at the Bridge from peer counseling. They're still as valuable today as they were when I was a 17-year-old working a suicide hotline. Share from your own experience. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. It can be scary. Connection can be scary, but it is the primal antidote to fear. And consider that soft connections are the delicate soil where innovation takes root. How do you keep softness in your connections? How do you maintain intersectional connections? And by that, I was trying to find a word here that captures all the differences of humanity and all the differences of people at New Relic. Connecting to business teams, product teams, HR, all the different connections you want to make within the teams. Connecting to people who look differently than you, who live in a different place than you, who live a different way than you do. Connecting to people who have different ways of thinking. How do you do that? Well, there's no one right way for everybody. It's time to experiment, try different things, try to make those connections, find that network, find the people who you can share with, to break down those silos, real or imagined. Here's a bunch of different experiment ideas, things that you can do today. Some of these things are really specific to our virtual time, like an open virtual coffee hour, group classes. But it's also becoming time as we learn more and more about what's happening with the world. We know that we can mingle in ways that are still safe. We can go on bikes and have beverages together. We can have a socially distant picnic. All these things require that first reach out to someone else, and reach out beyond your team, beyond your org. And remember, it's going to be awkward at first. So many of us are still in that phase where we've hardly come out of our houses, where we've hardly come out of our communities, our family units. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others as you start reaching out. And if somebody reaches out to you unexpectedly, be kind. Treat that with kindness and warmness, and look at the opportunity here. Think about it, too, in a scientific way. Think about how you can experiment to build connections. You know, us engineers, we love to try things and measure them. That's our job, right, is to measure. I mean, that's what we do as New Relic. Start with a hypothesis. I've come up with an example here. If we, as the Innovation Hub engineering team, invite 3 other teams to join us for coffee hours over the next month, then we will befriend at least 3 new people who will help when we got a question about committing a code to NR1. That's an if-then hypothesis we can begin with to start our connections. Do the work, do the experiment. In this case, we set up a coffee hour, invite another team to join us, ask a silly icebreaker, get some laughter going. God, laughter's in such short supply right now. And follow up. When we've built those initial connections, then when we're down in the meat of what we're doing, serving our customers, let's ask a question. And when we've done that, we've seen the experiment. Did we do it? Have we met teams that help us? Write a Nerd Life post, share it about what coffee with our team, how that's worked. Be honest and vulnerable, what worked and what didn't. If we trust one another within this organization, we can admit when something didn't work, and we can talk about why it didn't work and how we'll do it better next time. And we can use our learnings to try something new. I'm going to take you to another slide now that's just going to be a taste. You might want to look at this later, but I've always used a particular way of, you may have heard about innovation wheels before, but as a DJ, innovating like a DJ has always been kind of a driving thing for me. So this is a slide from a much longer presentation I do. I can go through a half hour where this slide just comes up individually. But the idea is, just like a DJ, you get a box of records. You know what people want to listen to, what they've liked before. You try it on the crowd. How do they like something new? How do they like this new mix? What works in that mix? What doesn't? You take that connection with the records, you record it, you can measure just by seeing the crowd out there, or the virtual crowd in this case, and then you recycle the bits that worked. So this connection between these songs worked. This particular question, this icebreaker worked, or this way of having the virtual coffee drew people in, but maybe this content didn't work. You find the pieces that work, you put them back into your creative records, and the next time you iterate it on again. You do another set, you bring in another new idea, you bring those old ideas and you remix them. You innovate like a DJ. And you can do that with social connection, you can do that with software, you can do it with anything that requires an innovative mindset. Connection is people, and people are everything. We are nothing without the people who build New Relic, who deliver New Relic, who believe that New Relic represents a new and better way of doing software development. We're open source now. Open source requires openness and collaboration. It requires vulnerability. It requires exposing other teams to what you're doing, letting people in on your communications. Hope. Hope is contagious and positivity is precious. I believe I firmly believe that New Relic is the key to making more and more people from around the world, diverse people, young people, old people. I believe it's the key to helping them learn and maintain their love of software development. And I want to share that with you. And that positivity, I think, is precious. When we're healthy, we take risks, we experiment, and we fail fast. We're able to say, oh, that didn't work. Here, let's try something again. When we're healthy and happy and connected, we can do that. Most importantly, we have to take care of the people who take care of people. Hire people who are going to stretch you and empower them. Work for leaders who advocate you, and look for openness, collaboration, and service. When we hire people who have a service mindset and we take care of them, we naturally take care of our customers because it's what's in us. When we connect, that's where we connect. We love our customers. We love our product. That builds our connections, and we share that, and it comes through in our product. We're connected, everybody. We're a team. We care about each other. We love New Relic. We love our customers. We love software development. Let's work together to break down our walls, to connect within. Let's try some new things, and let's rebuild that New Relic connection of connectivity. Thank you all very much. I'm going to hand it off now to somebody who has been inside of the office and who has worked with all of you, met with a lot of you in person, Erica Arnold. Erica, go ahead.